So I kind of thought that this trail might be muddy because we've been getting a lot of rain the last couple days. But so far, not at all. A lot of twists, a lot of turns. These are my favorite type of trails to run on. I'm probably about, I don't know, maybe close to 3/4 of a mile in, maybe a little bit less, but it's all twists and turns, and it's a very smooth surface. So you can see how this is an awesome trail for mountain bikers, but also for trail runners. And so far since I've been on the trail, I am the only person on the trail, so that's awesome. I think that's because the time that I came down here, after 6 o'clock, most people are wrapping up by then, and it's a Friday night, but I'm loving it. Okay, so we have a little side trail here and here, and being that the sun's going to go down eventually, I don't think I want to go too far off trail. And that is so hard for me to do. Anyway, hopefully we'll see some interesting things along this trail. So I just saw this feather laying on the trail, and I guess the question I would have, seeing that it's a black feather with white, is it possible this feather is from a bald eagle? To me, I would think so, but I don't know. So to my nature enthusiasts, is this from a bald eagle? So many of my recent videos have sort of centered around trying to find ruins and old railroad tracks and canals. There's something really nice about a nice nature walk. So right here, I'm assuming the trail goes this way, but that's why I need to be careful, because Cold Spot Trail goes that way. So I kind of want to go that way, but we are doing the Cold Spot Hammer Loop. So that means, unless I want to be down here after sundown, I want to go this way. So as I've been running along, I've been seeing a lot of these mushrooms. Some trails you see a lot more mushrooms than others. I'm thinking maybe because it's not a sunny day anyway, as you can probably tell. But this area probably always stays sort of dark and cool. I don't know this to be fact, but I'm kind of thinking mushrooms grow best in that type of environment. Always a lot of dead trees as well. So, I don't know. I almost ran right by this, and something something forced me to look to my left, but check this out. It's like a, what would you call this, a tiki? Sort of like what you see on Easter Island. That is so cool. I really like when you just spot something like this out in the middle of the woods. Very cool. So the goal is to run this trail Oh, again, we have a nice hill here for the bikers. But so often when I bring my camera, when I go out for a run, I wind up walking and doing a lot of videos. So trust me, I go out running a lot, and most times I do not bring my camera. But sadly, I'll be out on morning runs sometimes. God, this is such a cool trail. So anyway, I was saying, so often I am out for a run early in the morning, and that's when I see like a fox, a coyote, tons of deer, and often, you know, like a red-tailed hawk or maybe even a bald eagle. But I don't have my camera with me, and I certainly don't have a camera with a zoom lens. So one of these days, I'm just gonna get up real early in the morning, take a nice nature walk around sunrise. Early morning is my favorite part of the day. I absolutely used to be a night person, but I guess lifestyle change. I don't really drink anymore. I'm not out partying. So I cherish my early mornings. And this time of year, I really love late afternoon, early evening. So check this out. Check out this tree. So this tree is huge. I'm gonna walk over there so we get to see the tree, but this is the roots. So the whole thing was uprooted. Who knows how long ago. Always enjoy seeing the beautiful moss on these rocks. All right, so there you can see some of the roots, and then the tree is just laying right there. And then I always have to sit down and look when I see a creek. This to me looks like a cut stone maybe. So once upon a time there was a lot down here under the lake primarily. All right, so I do need to be careful again because I think we want to go this way, because I think we just came that way. One of these days I'm going to be looking. One of these days I'm going to be walking along the creek and I'm going to find an arrowhead. I still have yet to find an arrowhead. And you know, you can always go on eBay or Facebook Marketplace and buy an arrowhead, but so I want to find one. So I haven't been out of state in a long time, and I kind of miss it, but every time I would go somewhere, I would always collect a rock. So I have rocks from Colorado, I have rocks from California, rocks from Maine, Arizona, Utah, and they're nothing valuable or all that special, but they're special to me because they remind me of my trip. And most of those trips revolved around running a half marathon. So I think sadly my half marathon days might be over because I constantly pull muscles now when I run long distance. But I used to plan a lot of vacations around half marathons, and I saw a lot of the country that way. Grand Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Zion National Park. Joshua Tree. Anyway, I'm not gonna sit here and name them all, but all right, so I did just give the All Trails a quick look, and the good news is we are going to be, I think, popping out soon, and we'll be along the lake, I guess. Although I hear a lot of traffic over here, so I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Look at this. Look at this mushroom. Wow, that's huge. That's a big mushroom. Not sure what type of mushroom that is. I think it would be kind of a interesting, fun hobby to go foraging for mushrooms. Then again, sounds kind of dangerous. I guess you really have to know what you're talking about. Yeah, this is weird. I hear traffic, so I'm not sure what route we are close to, but it sounds like a pretty heavily traveled road. Nockamixon Park is huge. There's so many different trails, and like I said, I've been down here a lot, but I've never been on this trail before. Oh wow, what is this? So I had no idea. We have some ruins here. So check this out. Right on the trail. All right, so this and this. I don't know. I don't know why they would be placed here. I mean, they are concrete, so I don't know how old they are, but we have, it almost looks like a gateway into a residence. And then for some insane reason, we have stairs here. Stairs that lead to nowhere. Very interesting. So I don't know. I really don't know why these stairs would be here. Quite possibly, I don't know. Is it possible there was a home here at one time? I guess, right? This trail's probably fairly new. Or were they just placed here to make the trail more interesting? I just don't know. So if you know a little bit about the history of Nockamixon State Park, or more specifically this area of the park, leave it in the comments. I would love to know a little bit more about it. Personally, I think that was all placed here from a home that was in this area at one time, just to make the trail more interesting, but I don't know that. So anyway, always trying to learn on these videos. All right, so we are coming up on some tiger lily. So I've been seeing this my whole ride over. I've seen tiger lily all over the place. So I'm thinking, right, June, late June, July is probably when tiger lily is in full bloom. And I personally really like tiger lily. I think it's really pretty. It's one of my favorite flowers. And I know it's not native to Pennsylvania, so maybe that was planted along the trail, or that could tell us that quite possibly there was a homestead here. So who knows? Maybe those steps are in the original location. They just decided to leave them there. I don't know. But what I do know is as soon as I turned around, we've got a couple more of these. So this is quite interesting. We got one here, and we got one here. I don't know, a little more tiger lily. I understand why we're hearing traffic. So the trail came out here on this little trail down here, which leads to what I believe is Route 563. So I think I'm just gonna hitchhike back to my car. I'm getting bit by too many bugs. All right, stop acting silly, Jim. All right, let's get back on trail. All right, so as you can see, we are now along the lake. Always nice and peaceful down here. We are still hearing the traffic over there. Hopefully we'll be moving away from that. So, I gotta tell you, All Trails is honestly a little confusing. I really need to get with the 21st century as far as technology. So I just put the navigation on my watch because it's after 7 o'clock now and I don't want to get stuck down here. I want to get back to my car. The All Trails app just does not seem to be making sense. Distance remaining was actually getting larger, so I must have missed a turn. But you would think, and I don't know, maybe it does, maybe it's a setting, but you would think it would beep or something when you're supposed to turn. Anyway, I know I can be dippy at times. So, you know, I start talking into this camera and I stop paying attention. See, my GPS watch is not telling me to go this way. It's telling me to go this way. And my GPS watch has never failed me, so... Oh, God. Say a little prayer for me. St. Anthony, please come around. Jenny is lost and cannot be found. All right, so between the two, my watch and All Trails, we're gonna figure this out. Wow, beautiful. So I think I know why I've never been on this trail before. I think I'm always over there. I mean, I used to run over here all the time. That's kind of like the main part of the park. And then the old mill trail is sort of over in that direction. And I guess they're the two trails I've been on the most. I was on the Sterner Mill Trail and I don't know, a couple other trails, but I believe they're on that side of the lake, but I'm not 100% sure. Always find this interesting when I see a young tree growing sort of out of another tree. And then I'm wondering to myself, I don't think these are the same type of tree, but I could be wrong. Obviously, totally different bark, but that could be because this is a young tree. I don't know. If they're not the same tree, that is very strange. So, I was going the wrong way. This is the way we should have went. Luckily, I figured it out. I really need to be a little more careful when I come out late in the afternoon. This is a typical hike for me. But it's not usually a problem because I usually am out running or hiking early in the morning, quite often on a weekend, so time's really not an issue. That is not the case today. It's about 10 of 8. I think sunset is about 8:25. So, oh, one other thing. No headlamp. These are pretty. They almost look like a turkey tail. In fact, I think that might be the name of those mushrooms. So I'm definitely headed in the right direction, my friends. And all trails might have had me going the right way. I think what happened, I turned on my navigation watch and it didn't look so bad, like I didn't have that far to go. And then the number just kept going up. So why is it going up? But the fact is, these trails, you know, they're like switchbacks and they twist and they turn. And so my GPS watch, the arrow would be pointing the wrong direction. And then the distance was going up. So anyway, got a little panicky because I don't have that much sunlight left. But you can see how the navigation watch is pointing the wrong direction because it's just showing me the quickest way back to my car. But I can't walk that way. I don't want to walk that way. It would not be very smart to walk that way. All right, so I believe this is where we entered. So we made it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could give it a like, that would be awesome. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everybody.